Well, hey there, ladies. Welcome to day 3 of 5 Focus Secrets. I'm going to go ahead and share this into my group. I completely forgot to do that last night while you guys jump on. There we are. Share to the Mums in Biz group. Well, I'm so excited about tonight. It is going to be really, really powerful content. So I hope that you are joining me live. And if you are catching the replay, make sure you say, hey, engage, ask questions. I absolutely love playing with people online in my lives. That's why I do them. They're awesome. All right, so this is, if you are just jumping onto this and wandering on by in Facebook land and noticing that I'm live and thinking, what is this all about? So I will tell you, I am doing a free training every day this week, every night this week actually, on 5 Focus Secrets. So most of the people that I talk to in business are overwhelmed. They don't know what to do next. They don't know where to focus. They don't know how to get from where they are now to where they think they want to go, which is actually really part of the problem, but we will get into that a bit later on. And so I'm sharing the 5 things that I use to really focus my efforts. Hey, Alison, how you going? Really focus my efforts in my business, and it helps all of that extra overwhelm completely fall away. So on Monday, we covered vision. Now, this is the thing that most people completely overlook in their businesses, and it is absolutely responsible for how I think about my business and most of my inspiration, because I'm aligned with my vision. And so we talked about that. If you haven't watched the other videos, you want to go ahead and sign up, because you can get access to all of the videos if you sign up at the bit.ly link above. It's /5 Focus Secrets, and then that's a forever access page. So you'll be able to go back and rewatch, and every time you watch them, you're going to get something different out of them, because you'll be at a slightly different stage in your business every time you do. And I completely agree with you, Alison. People overlook vision in their life. Absolutely. And in fact, we talked about that. We talked about the difference between ideal life and your personal vision and your business vision, and why it's so important that you have vision for each of those things. Your business is a living, breathing entity, and being truly aligned in your vision with your business means you can ground yourself in it, and you know what you need to do next to get there, because you know what the end point looks like, and that's what it's all about. Then yesterday, we talked about what I call the spinning head syndrome, and what stops so many of us not knowing what to say in our businesses, gets in the way of our messages, gets in the way of how we show up, and knocks us out of the game, quite frankly. Like, we get so stuck up in our head that we end up not saying anything, or we sound like we've got a stick up our butt because we're really, really proper when we do it, because we're so scared about saying what we really, really think. And so this is about your brand foundation, and we spent a bunch of time talking about your brand foundations last night. So how connected are you with your business? We covered knowing who you are, knowing what your values are, and we covered a bunch of tips around how to figure out what those are and go a bit deeper than just the surface ones that we tend to rattle off when someone asks us that question. I asked you what you stand for, and do you know what that is, and how is that guiding how you show up in your business? Because all of that leads to, what is your underlying message? What are the words that you want people to use when they describe you, when they describe your business, when they talk about, or the perception that they have of you and your business? And it doesn't have to be deep and meaningful. We talked about making it fun and playful, or whatever is right for your business. But the thing that's most important, and this is actually a theme that runs through all of these trainings this week, is they all need to be aligned. So your vision and your business purpose and intention that we talked about on Monday needs to align into who you are and your values and your message and what you stand for, which is your brand foundation. And that's what you need to stay really, really true to. So that's what we covered last night. And that is what attracts your ideal client to you. So really, really important. It actually takes the work out of attracting your ideal client because they're just drawn to you showing up as yourself, which, by the way, is also completely effortless when it's just you. Although sometimes we do need to learn who we are again, which is something that I do with my clients quite a bit. Okay, so tonight's topic is my approach to ensuring that you are working on the 5% money-making activities rather than diligently working on all the stuff that just isn't going to increase the bottom line. And we're going to cover why you aren't seeing those results yet as well. This, my friends, is all about getting jiggy with your business model. And so tonight I'm going to talk about, well, for a start, I'm going to talk about what the heck is a business model. And I'm going to talk about how you figure out what the right business model is for you, and then how that translates into that 5% revenue generating activities. So we're ready to dive in. Everybody who's playing along with me at home, make sure that you say hi. Hey, Cherie, how you going? Say hi, ask questions, and play with me because I really love chatting with you all when I'm online. Okay, so what is a business model? It is quite simply how you make money in your business. And the number of women that I speak to who actually can't answer that question concisely of where are your revenue streams coming from? How many are there? How are you playing against them? How are they performing? Is really quite staggering, because as business women, you just got to know your numbers, babe. Like, it's just, you can't be in business and avoid your numbers. And that is all tied back into your business model. So let me ask you this question. I want you to sit there and think about it. I want you to say, I will come back to your question in a minute, Alison. I want you to answer the question for me. How do you make money in your business? Do you have one primary service that you offer? Does that package up in different ways? Do you have one product line, or do you have many? Do you tend to deliver a bespoke service or product so the customer gets to tell you exactly what they want? How do you make money in your business? It's really important that you sit down and think about this and categorize that. It's also really important to think about how many ways can you make money in your business. Note I said can, not do. So there may be things that you know are going to be important in the growth of your business long term, but they're not things you're focusing on right now. For example, I have a group coaching program. I have an online course. I will also have events, but that's not something I'm focusing on right now. That is in sort of 12 to 18 months' time. So that is a potential revenue stream for my business, but it's not something I'm focusing on right now. So you want to acknowledge all of those things that are in the, I would love to do this one day, but it's not right for me to do right now. Part of the trap in how you focus is that you try to do all of those things now because you think, oh, well, it must be better to have more. No, most of you, there is actually only yourself and, one or two other people in your business. And so you end up spreading yourself far too thin in terms of trying to build those bridges. You want to focus, especially when your business is new, on one revenue stream, get that working, and then add into it. Otherwise, it's going to take you twice the amount of time, or probably longer, to get them to their maximum earning potential. Does that make sense? Let me know if that makes sense. I'm going to go ahead and answer Alison's question before I keep going. She said, why is it 5%? So it's fair to say that is a notional figure, but 95% of the stuff that we do in our business, and the reason I make this point is basically just to say most of the stuff you are doing in your business right now doesn't directly contribute to revenue generating activities. And I can hear you saying in your head or out loud to me right now, but. Yes, but. I have to do the social posting. I have to do the about page. I have to do, you know, insert extraneous, generally online show up kind of activity to build my audience. And that's where I'm going to really challenge you on that tonight. So why is it 5%, Alison? It's because it's saying a really small amount of the things that you could be doing in your business right now are directly contributing to making money. If you can focus on those, you will grow faster. Doesn't need to be perfect, it needs to be done. Okay? Does that make sense? Let me know. Alison also says, I offer hands-on decluttering and would like to offer coaching over the phone. You tried virtual decluttering but didn't enjoy it. That is actually a fantastic point, and I'm going to come back to that. If you don't enjoy it, don't do it. We'll come back to that later, but I think that's really, really, really smart that you picked up on that early and just cut it out. Upkeep and back end. Upkeep and back end. I'm going to try really hard to be way more articulate tonight than I was by the end of last night's live. And yes, absolutely, all of that kind of stuff. Some of it is important. Most of it can be outsourced, and I'll get to that. So there is potential in your business model that even if you don't think there is. And what I mean by that is most of us have blinkers on about how we're going to deliver our product or service. We think that we know exactly how it needs to be done, and that may or may not correlate to our market research if we have gone out and actually done that in any great depth. And I find with most of the women that I talk to that there are other ways that they can get greater leverage around their time and the way that they're able to deliver their services or products than what they currently think there is. And so it's really important to dive into this. When you know how money is made in your business and you know how to focus and where you need to focus, then you get what we call, it's like a lever, you know, if you can lift a whole lot more if you've got I don't know any of the technical words, a big old stick and you shove it under a rock, put a rock under it. You can lift a lot more doing that with a lever. So you can get a better result by using a leverage point to increase your power, the impact that you can make when you're being smart about it like this, yeah? And so that's what I mean by a lever. If you know exactly where to focus your effort, just like on this lever point with your big old stick, you're going to get far better traction in terms of making more money in your business. It's not about the heavy lifting. I probably couldn't move that big rock without the lever. Does that make sense? Let me know if I've completely confused you there, because these things make sense in my head. That doesn't necessarily translate. So when you're thinking about your revenue generating activities, then that means you're either directly making or contributing to making money. So directly making the sale, indirectly making money. So attracting an audience or customers, but that one's a bit of a trap. Yeah, it has to be about really attracting the people who are going to buy from you. So there is no sense in randomly growing a Facebook group if you're not attracting your ideal client. And there is no sense in growing an audience on any social platform if you're ignoring the people who have reached out to you directly to ask for your help, but you're not emailing them back or calling them back or things like that. So in those two scenarios, doing another post on Instagram or calling back a client who has reached out to you, this one, calling back the client, that's the 5% activity. And then the last one is obviously delivering on sold services and products. You have to honor the promises that you've made to your clients. Everything else can be simplified, outsourced, delegated, deferred, or dropped altogether. And I would argue that a large proportion of it probably can be dropped altogether. Okay. And that's why you hear so many people talking about outsourcing as being, you know, the number one way you're going to grow your business. The reason that it's true is because you take a non-value add activity that may or may not be essential, you know, like and it said a back end activity, tax or finance or social posting if you've written the copy, or outsourcing something that's not a core skill for you, that frees you up to spend your time on the revenue generating activities. That's why outsourcing works, to get yourself ahead in your business. Okay, similarly with automation. But to the point that Alison made before, if there are things that you really hate doing, that really aren't generating results, that you're doing because you feel like you have to do it, but you can't see how it connects into how you're making money, into those revenue generating streams in your business, then cut them. Don't do them. They're not essential. And sometimes that's a hard decision. For example, if you have a Facebook group and you hate showing up in it, and it drains your energy, and you don't feel like you've attracted the right kind of people to it, and that's not where you go and get your clients from anyway, well, why would you have it? Those are the sorts of things that you really need to really test yourself. Or if you've got a product that you don't really enjoy delivering at all, why do it? Why offer it if you hate it? You're not going to come across convincingly when you're trying to sell it anyway. And quite frankly, your time is worth a lot more than that. Okay? So how do you feel when I say that? Have I freaked anybody out? Have I annoyed anybody? Just let me know if this is making, if it's resonating with you. And if you're comfortable with being uncomfortable about not doing things in your business. How many things are you doing that is not contributing to making money at all right now? Be honest. Let me know in the comments. How deliberate are you in the way that you add value and share with your potential customers? These are 5% activities. Are you sharing them in a way that helps them appreciate how you can help them? I talk a lot in my student group about really being able to articulate value, being able to talk about the benefits, being able to build the story for your ideal client of what it's going to feel like when their problem has been solved, of really understanding them, of really getting into the emotions of how they feel now and how they're going to feel. That's what I mean when I say, are you sharing in a way that helps them appreciate how you can help them? Okay, that's where you need to be spending your time and energy, because if you are really values aligned and really connected with your vision and 100% passionate about your purpose, that is going to come through in the way that you communicate with your people, okay? And so why would you not spend your time on those types of activities? All right, I'm going to, yep, it is resonating. Leanne says, you've recently decided not to sell for a company as you don't have the drive or passion to sell what they sell. Perfect. That is a perfect example of what I'm talking about, Leanne. All right, now let's talk a little bit more then about your business model. I got slightly off track with my old passion going on there. I'm going to give you some questions to start to work out what that is, because it can sound like a big old technical term, can't it? And I'm going to describe it in a couple of different ways here, and hopefully one of them will really make sense for you so that you can start to figure out what this looks like for you. So I want you to start thinking about the following things. How much do you want to be working? This is important when you're designing your business model. And in actual fact, with my students, when I work through, this is one of the things that we do really early on in the process, because you need to start with the end in mind with your business model as well. So how much do you want to be working? And by that, I mean, how many hours a week and when a week do you want to be working? This is ideal too, by the way. What type of work do you want to be doing? Do you want to be doing one-on-one? Do you want to be the mastermind behind a team of people who are doing things? Pardon me, do you want to be behind a computer? Do you want to be working in a group environment, face-to-face, online, creating products that get sold through other people versus you actually really, really love the market environment? So think about that. What type of work do you want to be doing in your business? How do you want to be serving? That plays into what I was just talking about. Are you providing a done for you service in how you're serving? You want people to come to you and say, can you please write copy for me, or can you please do my Facebook ads for me, or can you please do my finances for me? You're providing a service where you're doing things for them. Do you want to teach? Do you want to coach? Do you want to produce something or physically make something for them? How do you want to be serving your ideal client? Ideally. Who are you serving? This comes back to your ideal client. But also, how many people are you serving? What does great look like for you? How are you building on your products and services? So do you, and I don't recommend this, but I'm going to give it as an example for the sake of an example. Do you want to have a broad range of things that you are selling? Or are you going to have like a brick model? So maybe you have, oh, well, I can give you my example. So I have an online course, that's my base product. I have a group coaching program. I'm going to add events in there. And then one-on-one is actually going to be my premium service. And so things kind of build on each other. That's how my business model works. For you, there might be a progression. Maybe you love delivering training and you do that in a modular fashion. And so somebody might go to one course and then be interested in learning something new. Or what's another? If you were to teach languages, for example, then it's a stepwise thing. So it's not about deciding to do something else that you offer. It's about saying, okay, well, I've mastered this level of language. Now I'm ready for an intermediate level. So how are you building on your products and services? It works for physical products. If I was to think about oils as an MLM, for example, that's something that builds on. When somebody is really interested in your product, they're likely want to build their collection. So how do you help them do that? What does that look like? How do you make it easy for them to do that? Okay. And what is the path, therefore, that your clients take through your business? So existing clients are easier to convert than new ones because they already trust you and know you and like you, and presumably have gotten value from working with you, and so they want to stick with you. And another example of that is have you ever come across somebody where, and it happens a lot in, well, not actually just the online space, it could be anything, where everything that they come out with, you're like, yeah, I will buy everything that you do because I just think you're amazing. It might be a person, it might be a brand. Skincare is often something that where we'll connect with a particular brand and their products and how they deliver and all that kind of good stuff. And every time they come out with something new and shiny, we're like, oh, look at that, I want that. It works on so many levels, whether it's product or services that you sell. So you have to think about all of these things when you're designing your business model. The last thing, and these all play into this decision, it's not the last thing, actually, there's heaps of stuff, but the last thing I want to talk to you about on this is about passive versus active income. So do you guys know what the difference is between passive and active income? Give me a like or a thumbs up or something if you've heard these terms before and you know what they mean. Oh, there's a bit of a delay. All right, I'm going to keep going. So passive income, which is something that gets poo-pooed a lot. I think it's because lots of people have tried to take advantage of people. Annette says yes, thank you, Annette. Is where you don't have to do work to get money to come in, okay? There aren't too many mechanisms of making money in your business which are 100% passive. But I think of it as a continuum. And active income is at the other end. And that is where you are trading time for money. It's a job. Your business can very, very easily become a job. And that's why thinking about your business model is important, okay? Because otherwise you go do merrily along, you create success for yourself and realize you've just created yourself a glorified job where not only Do you have all the goodness that comes with trading time for money, but you've got all the risk as well because you're the business owner? Okay, that's not what you want. But somewhere along that continuum is where your products and services sit, and you need to decide what that looks like. Obviously, at the passive end of the scale is where your leverage is created. That's where you create something once and you sell it over and over again. Online courses are a great example of that. They are rarely fully passive. So, for example, with my course, I show up in the Facebook group every week and I do training, I answer questions and that kind of stuff. So it's not fully passive, but that's all I do for that course. I don't have to recreate the content every time I sell it. Does that make sense? So it's much further up this end of the scale. And group coaching is kind of in the middle, right? I have to do work, I have to show up, I have to provide assistance to the people who are in my group coaching program, but it's one-to-many. It's not just one-on-one services for me. And that's why people talk about their one-on-one services as being a premium, okay? So for you, when what you need to do is think about where along that spectrum you want to be. And if you have more than one product or service that you are going to sell as part of your business model, and people are going to funnel through that and they have a journey through that. So for example, someone who's in my course might decide that they want to go into a group coaching program that starts to become the customer journey through my business. And so that makes sense for me that they would go from the more passive end starting to go into where there's a little bit more active involvement from me. Okay, that's what you need to decide for your business. Every business is different. I'm just giving you an online coaching example there. If you've got a product business, well then maybe you need to be thinking about partnerships, joint ventures. How can you remove yourself from a one-on-one equation and get greater growth? There are lots of different creative ways that you can do that, okay? So what this means for your business. When you have a specific approach in terms of how you make money in your business, then you can start to make really informed decisions about where you're going to focus and what you're going to sell, okay? You can structure your sales cycles. You can match them to your goals, which is a whole nother topic. But we talked about vision and goals and where you want to get to. Well, you can say, okay, well, I'm going to focus on this thing for this quarter. And then I'm going to focus on this thing. And then I'm going to go back to the first thing, or whatever that might look like. Or this year, my focus is on building up my clientele in my core offer. And then next year, I'm going to build on that. Okay. Most importantly, you decide when not to sell something or how often you're going to sell it. Okay, so be deliberate in what you're selling and when it is available so that you can truly focus on one area at a time. As I said, this is especially important when it's just you and your business. Okay, the one thing you need to do with every product is work out how you can leverage it a bit more. It doesn't need to be fully leveraged, it doesn't need to be fully passive, but how can you get a bit more bang for your buck in terms of the time that you're putting in? The most valuable resource you have in your business right now is your time. It's not money, okay? We hold on really, really tightly to our money and we're like, oh, look how good I am, I'm saving my profit, blah, blah, blah. No, that's not the most valuable thing you have in your business. The most valuable thing you have in your business is your time. And yet we just give it away freely without really focusing, okay? All right, Annette says, think affiliate marketing. Yes, absolutely. That is a great one for passive or more towards the passive end of the scale. It's actually really good. Affiliate marketing is not passive at all. You put a lot of work into the sale, but you don't necessarily have to do a whole bunch on the back end of the delivery, depending on what sorts of bonuses and things you've got in there. Evergreen courses, yes. Jules, hey, how you going? All right. Now, if you aren't growing, then that's a sign that something needs to change in your business. That might be you, okay? That might be what you are doing. It might be your model and how you're making money. But small tweaks often create the greatest shifts. And the biggest challenge that we have, so why would, if you take two, there are many examples of this, and I'm sure that all of you probably have examples of this in your mind, where somebody else has got a business that looks the same as yours from the outside and they're making money and you're not. Why is that? Clearly, it's a business model that works. There's something else that's different. And the biggest challenge is usually resistance, okay? Anything where we take a belief and we turn it into a fact, and usually these are the things where we've added a but or an or a maybe or a because. So, yeah, I know that that's important, but yeah, I know I should be doing that, but, or yeah, maybe, or well, the reason that's happening is because it's probably just us resisting doing the things that we need to do to grow, okay? Sometimes that's because we're chasing a business that we're not aligned to. And so I point you back to the vision and the work that we've done the last 2 days. Like, if you're not truly aligned with your business and it feels heavy, and like you have to wade through mud to achieve everything that you're trying to get across the line, well, then chances are that you're not fully in alignment with your business and something needs to shift there. And it's really worthwhile taking the time to look at it. Does it feel effortless? How many of you on the call can say that your business feels effortless? Or better yet, what do you want your business to feel like? How often are you doing things that you just don't want to do in your business? These are the questions I want you to be considering. I want you to really think about it. It's important that you start to get a handle on this stuff. Because what do you think would happen if you learned how to focus just on that 5% for your business? Do you think that you would see growth? Do you think that you could step outside your comfort zone and do that? What would it take for you to do that? What would it take for you to put aside some of the maybe more comfort zone activities, which are, you know, our administrative stuff or our social stuff or our, I know I'm, you know, just playing around the edges. That's the thing I really have to do. What would it take for you to step in and pick up that 5% activity and absolutely smash it out? And think of it from this perspective, yeah? So how would it feel to be sitting there in 3 months' time, knowing what done looks like? I heard this today and I absolutely love it and I want to share it with you. It was James Wedmore. I love James Wedmore. If you haven't listened to him, go and check out the Mind Your Business podcast. And the most recent one, I think it's episode 201 particularly, was very, very good. And he said, we build a house with a plan. So when you build a house from scratch, you know what done looks like. We've got a plan. We're working towards something concrete. We know what the result is. Yet we spend months and years floundering around building our businesses. Well, do you know what done looks like for your business? Okay, that's what business model is about. That's what these focus areas that we're talking about this week is about, is getting to a point where we know what done looks like. And that makes it so much easier to know where we need to focus to get to that point. When I work with my clients, we focus on the 5%. Okay, and in Empowered CEO Academy, we focus on what done looks like for your business. You make your own map for what you need to do to get there. And most importantly, we work together so that you can figure out what done looks like for you. And that's where the empowered CEO bit comes from. Because there's no point me doing it for you. You have to figure out how to do it for you so that you can then do it again and really know how to step up and, you know, figure out what is holding you back and truly what investment isn't worth it when you are going after your dream business. Now, whether or not ECA is something that you're interested in, I want you to listen to what I said there again. What is holding you back and truly what investment isn't worth it when you are going after your dream business? Because the answer is there isn't an investment that isn't worth it unless we don't actually believe that we can do it or that we will do the work. It's a big distinction there. And I know when I first invested in my very first coach, I was terrified handing over that money, but I wasn't scared about handing over the money. I was scared that I wasn't going to be enough, that I wasn't going to be able to get the results that I knew I should, which I think is a word that should be completely like struck from the dictionary, but I knew that I should be able to get those results. That's what I was scared of, because I didn't actually believe that I could do it. And what came out of that experience was belief and confidence and courage to do the stuff to get to where I am. So the ladies that are right for ECA then are the ones who are courageous enough to take that step, who are ready to believe in themselves, who want to feel like an empowered CEO, who want to feel empowered to do what it's going to take to grow their businesses, and who aren't scared to do the work. Building a business, it is hard work. It absolutely is hard work, but it doesn't have to be about hustle. And I think that's where the message gets kind of confused today. If you're focusing on the right things and you know what done looks like and you know where you're going towards, well, then it's just about, first off, sorting out what's going on in here, and then getting the what sorted. The how sorts itself out, but knowing what you need to do to get to that picture, that done picture. When you build a house and you've got a set of plans, the plans are the what. That's what you have to do to build the house. There are 1,000 different ways how to do each of those steps within that building that house, different types of frames and materials and products, and they change halfway through, and they can still get to having the house at the end, even though they made a heap of changes along the way. And building your business is really, really similar to that. So I want you guys to think about that. Is that you? Am I describing you? Stop shooting all over yourself and just do it. Yeah, Alison, completely. I'm looking for 10 driven, passionate, willing to roll their sleeves up and ask themselves hard questions women to work with me in ECA, so that they can create their done business and stop hustling. And most importantly, really get their belief. If you are curious about ECA, I'm going to go ahead and pop the link in here. Finally finished the sales page. Oh, my word. So you can go and check it out and see some of the details that are on there. And please PM me, because I would love to talk to you about it if you think that sitting there in 3 months' time, knowing exactly where it is you need to go and having done the hard work to know what your done business is going to look like, and to have that confidence and the self-belief that it's all you need to do is just execute and it's going to happen for you. If that's what you want in 3 months' time, and you're willing to put yourself out there, and some of what I say resonates with you, and you think that being pushed around by me, because I'm pretty straight up and I will challenge you on some of your beliefs, then I would absolutely love to have you inside the program. So please check it out and come and ask me questions. Now, tomorrow, well, for a start, tomorrow night I'm getting my hair done. So I'm going to change the time slightly. This is, my business. I'll do what I like. Thank you very much. So I'm going to be hopefully online at 8:30 tomorrow night, not 8 o'clock. But when I come online, what we're talking about is how to figure out what the heck you are meant to be doing with your marketing strategy, so that you are finally getting traction and attracting those ideal clients to you like bees to a honeypot, without the what do I say overwhelm that is plaguing you right now. So make sure you join me tomorrow night. I'm super excited to be talking about marketing strategy. I'm going to be talking about tortoises and hares and all sorts of stuff and content that I haven't shared before in my free forums. So I hope that you will come and join me. And I look forward to talking to you all then. And now I'm going to go and have a cup of tea with my mama bear. All right, my lovely ladies, have a fabulous evening, and I'll talk to you tomorrow. Bye-bye.